Yes, that's right. It's time for Show Us Your Cat on Joyrider TV. Let's take a look. Hello, yes, that's right. It's Joe here for Joyrider TV, back with some more Show Us Your Cat on this Sunday afternoon. Show Us Your Cat is where we're going to take a look around the world at your boats and where it is that you sail them. And today we're firing in with none other than episode 90. Oh yes, and because it's episode 90, we've got something pretty special for you, and that is a Nacra 17 special. Yeah, it's the 10th anniversary of the Nacra 17, and it's also Olympic year, which makes it very fitting that we're going to take a look at these amazing boats. I'm coming to you from Wild Wind Vasiliki, Lefkas, Greece, where we're offering sailing holidays coming very soon, and the conditions are going to be magnificent. I can taste it even now. The main feature on Joyrider TV this week was the Q&A session, which is becoming a very popular feature where I answer live people's most challenging catamaran sailing questions. If you haven't seen this yet, do check out the link. I'll put one at the end and one just here. The thing that's been keeping Show Us Your Cat going is you guys sending in pictures and videos of your boats. So please do get involved, but do keep them coming. Your boat could be featured on an upcoming episode of Show Us Your Cat. Very exciting times. So let's jump in and take a look at this Nacra 17 special on Show Us Your Cat. The Nacra 17 was first built in 2011 specifically for the Olympic trials. They had the trials, and then there was the 4 years leading up to the Rio Olympics in 2016, where the Nacra 17 was first featured as an Olympic boat. The 17 really filled the gap that was missing in the multi-hull world and became the perfect boat for mixed teams. Although the boat is a foot shorter than the Formula 18, the rest of the dimensions are the same. It's the same width as an F18, the mast is the same length, it's got pretty much the same sail area, but it's 40 kilos lighter, weighing in at just 140 kilos. That makes, even without talking about the foils, that makes this boat an absolute rude boy on the race course for sure. After the Rio Olympics, the 17 got upgraded and these curved foils got replaced for some Z foils, much more stable, and also some T-shaped rudder blades. So that's like wings on the rudder blades. So then the boat would ride on those 4 points rather than on the 2 points, which made it quite unstable in its original form. But of course, we've got the Olympic Games coming up this year, so look out for these bad boys on the race course, kicking off on the 28th of July this year. So now let's dive in and take a look at the specific 17s that we're looking at this week in Show Us Your Cat. We're starting off this week by heading to the UK, to North Wales, to Lake Bala, where we have Mike. And as you may have guessed, Mike has got a Nacra 17. And Mike's whole family is a family of cat sailors. And here we can see, along with Mike, loading up the Nacra 17 is the full team. In the front row, we've got Ruben, Molly, Grace and Rosie. And then on the other side, we've got Mike and his brother Paul. Mike first made the transition to cat sailing a few years ago now with this absolutely fantastic looking 2001 A-Class. The A-Class is at the cutting edge of solo cat racing, and the modern boats are all out foiling weapons. But that doesn't mean the earlier boats, which are now known as lowriders, are to be sniffed at. These bad boys are absolute loaded weapons as well. One of the big features of the A-Class is that it's a very lightweight boat. This A-Class, although 20 years old now, still looks the business. And Mike here is showing some excellent trapezing style. Perhaps a reason that Mike got into the A-Class is that his dad was doing something similar. One of the original A-Class designs, I believe back from the 60s, maybe even earlier, the Unicorn is a class of catamarans mostly sailed in the UK, and most owners are fanatical about keeping their boats looking as sharp as possible. And Mike's dad, Richard, has got a blue waterline Unicorn A-Class, which I think you'll agree is looking pretty nice. And it was just Richard's birthday this week. Happy birthday from Joyrider TV, but do wish Richard a happy birthday in the comments below if you fancy it. Now on to Mike's Nacra 17. Mike got hold of this Nacra 17 in June of 2019. It's a 2014 boat, which is a Mark 1. So it's got the curved boards. He bought it for club racing at Bala Sailing Club, as it was a cheaper option to get into some modern cat racing. Here's Mike out sailing on his Nacra 17 solo, and it really would appear that he is loving it. But unfortunately, due to the restrictions, there hasn't been so much racing in 2020. So at the times when the guys were allowed out on the water, it was more family fun days with the Nacra 17. And they caught this moment on video last summer, towing Grace and Rosie, Ruben and Molly on the 17 along with Mike and Paul. That looks like a lot of fun. Do put it in the comments below, what is the best thing that you've been towed behind a catamaran on? The kids, Rosie, who's 9, and Molly, who's 5, have recently got into sailing in Optimists, but they much prefer trapezing off the Sailing Club's Dart 16 and blasting up and down the lake, getting absolutely soaked in the process. Here's Rosie, who is 9, just after her first time out trapezing on the Dart 16 last season. Great stuff. And here's a picture of the Dart 16 with Mike at the helm, Richard on the trapeze, and Rosie there in the washing machine on the trampoline. So now we're heading to Bassenthwaite Sailing Club in the Lake District, just a bit further north. We've got Paul, Mike's brother, who's got a Nacra Infusion, and here is some absolutely sick footage of a full power spinnaker run. Oh yes, this is filmed on a GoPro 360, and she's absolutely cooking. And just sticking the nose in a bit there at the end to let her know that the guys are still keen. Very nice. So thanks very much to Mike, Paul, and the rest of the family for sending in those photos and videos of your catamarans, your catamaran sailing antics, and the good fun that you guys have been having there in North Wales and further north. Okay, so next we are heading to the City of Sails. Yeah, that's right. We're going to New Zealand, to Auckland, which you may have become familiar with over the last couple of weeks, where we have Andy, And you're not going to believe it, but Andy has got a Nacra 17. Now this one is a Mark II from 2017. So this is the full foiling version. Andy says she's a very twitchy and nervous boat, gives you great acceleration kicks, and you can feel the entire platform getting under tension when she takes off. He says once foiling, it's a wild ride. There's a hissing sound coming from the foils. He says balancing the weight is absolutely crucial. Just one step forwards or backwards makes a big difference and can result in quite a dynamic pitch pole if you get it wrong. He's not racing with the 17 just yet, but very much enjoying the speed. It's a fun and not so much of a forgiving boat, but he's looking forward to perhaps sailing some long distance races later on this year. And just take a look at the size of those foils on the trampoline. Oh my goodness, there's some size there. And you can see the rudder system, it's a cassette style rudder stock where the rudders go up and down more like a dagger board than traditional rudder stocks. That means that when loaded up and with a bit of pressure on, they're not going to start coming back. So that angle of the rudders is going to be set at all times. So thanks very much, Andy, for sending us in those pictures of your 17. And perhaps we'll see some more action coming from your 17 at some point. We want to see that bad boy on the water. So there we go. Thanks again to Andy and to Mike for sending us in those pictures and videos of their great looking boats. We're back next week with more Show Us Your Cat on Joyrider TV. Do get involved if you've got pictures of your boat, or you can go out and photograph your boat for next week's episode. And of course, we've got the Q&A session coming up on Wednesday. If you're not able to make it, send me your questions in ahead of time and I will answer those during the session. Thanks to everybody for supporting the channel, whether that's through Patreon or if you've been over to totaljoyrider.com and got yourself a nice t-shirt or a hoodie. Very nice too. But I'll see you soon with some more on Joyrider TV.